So in this video we're looking at some helpful movements to build mobility and strength in the hands, wrists and forearms. Just all this area, how we get it moving and a sense of it being pliable, as well as having strength for the things we want to do. So these movements are great if you do a lot of yoga. It helps with all the weight bearing that we do on the hands. It's great if you play an instrument and you're having to do a lot of repetitive movements with your hands, or if you're a climber, play sports where you have to hold a racket, all those kind of things which kind of lock your arms in a certain position. This is a nice way of just keeping everything supple and mobile. So the first thing we're going to do is just circle the wrists. And it seems, really simple and obvious, but just trying to find all the range of motion you can in a circle in your wrist, and you soon start to feel things. Maybe a few clicks happen, and you'll just notice this sense of stretch in different areas. And then a second movement is to bring the backs of your hands together. You can touch your baby fingers and your thumbs and find a straight line from elbow to elbow. Just push your hands into each other. So you can even feel like you're dropping your elbows down, and as you push the hands into each other, just noticing this sense of stretch across the top of your wrist and into your forearms. And we'll start to make circles. So let your fingers move towards you, up towards the ceiling. Make a flower, turn your hands outwards, have the index fingers touch, and then bring the backs of your hands together again where you started. So that's one circle. So the hands go up, they make a flower in the middle, they turn outwards, they roll back and glue back together again. And then once you get the hang of that shape, you just keep circling around. So you're getting lots of movement. The feeling is that the wrists are in contact with each other the whole time. They're just spinning around in contact with each other. And you could have a go and see if you can go the other way around. So just doing a few of these starts to loosen up your wrists, and your elbows are moving as well at the same time. Okay, give your hands a little bit of a shake. And then just making fists and squeezing your fingers together. Very slowly open up your hands as wide as you can, and just check out how much your hands widen. Can you stretch your fingers really straight on both hands? Make your fists again, and then open up wide again. So you're just getting all the muscles in your fingers and hands to squeeze in different ways. And as you do that, you could turn it into a little bit of a flick, so it feels like you're flicking water off the tips of your fingers. And then just pick up a little bit of speed with that. Let your wrists and your elbows get really soft, so they're kind of bending with the flicking movement rather than everything being stiff. Just let your wrists and your elbows become really fluid. Keep flicking your wrists, and then just pick up as much speed as you can. And you keep going until you feel a hand starts to malfunction and you can't keep it up anymore. And then give your hands a shake. Turn your palms up. You could lower your gaze or close your eyes. Take a gentle, smooth breath in. And as you breathe out, just bringing your attention to your elbows, all the way down your forearms, your wrists, into your palms, into the tips of your fingers. Just notice all the sensations there. So you might feel tingling, you might feel a sense of warmth, or just flowing through that area, just having woken it up a little. And then opening your eyes again. Okay, so can you feel you've moved all the tissues from your elbows downwards a little bit more? And this one definitely gets easier with practice. I find the malfunctioning happens later now. I can keep flicking and I can speed up a bit quicker. So all those muscles start being able to coordinate and control movement a bit more as well. Okay, so we're going to do one more, and this is probably the most challenging. So if you start by holding your right forearm with your left hand and make your hand really flat. So through this whole movement, we're going to try and keep the fingers really flat They're going to try and bend to help you do the movement, and you're aiming to just keep them as straight as possible. And you're holding your forearm so that you can keep it still. The forearm will want to turn to join in the movement, and we're trying not to let that happen as much as possible. So you've got a good grip there with your left hand. The right hand is straight, and then turn your fingers up to the ceiling. So you're trying to make a right angle at your wrist. Hand is flat, fingers point to the ceiling. Then we're going to drop the fingers down to the left, keeping the hand flat. Keep dropping them down as far as they'll go. The forearm will start to turn a bit, so when you can't keep it still anymore, that's the maximum point. And start to turn your hand outwards away from you. Fingertips are pointing to the floor now, and then pull your fingertips towards your body. So you're trying to make as much of a right angle in this position with your wrist in extension. And then the fingers will go out to the right, and then the hand rotates back up to center. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. So the hand drops down to the right, start to rotate the hand down, give a little pull once your fingers are pointing to the floor, over to the left, and then all the way back up. Let's do one more round to each side, trying to keep the hand flat, trying to keep the forearm still. And you'll notice, doing this slowly, how much the wrist is moving, especially compared to the other movements we did. Okay, and then give that hand a shake, circle it round, see how it might feel different from the other one, and then we'll do the left hand. So these are controlled articular rotations of the wrist joint, trying to get as much movement out of that wrist joint as possible. So you're holding with your right hand, left hand is completely flat, and pull it up towards you. You're trying to keep your body kind of in a nice, neutral, relaxed but firm position as well. And then we're going to drop those fingertips down to the right. Start to turn your hand away from you. Fingers point to the floor. Pause. Pull your fingertips in towards your body, maintaining this kind of right angle at the elbow as well. And then let the fingers go over to the left. Start to turn your hand, my forearm's turned, and fingertips back up to the ceiling. We'll go the opposite direction. Hand goes to the right, starts to rotate downwards, pull, 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 rotate to the other side, and back up again. So we'll do one more round of that. And you could do 3, you could do 5, maybe starting with 2, with as much kind of attention to the details as possible is good. Pulling down, out to the side, and all the way back up again. Just notice what you could feel in the top of the forearm, the back side of the forearm. Give your hands a shake. Okay, so there are a few not weight-bearing things you can do to get the wrists, the hands, the forearms moving. And then you could have a look at the second video to see some positions with those hands and wrists that are a bit more weight-bearing, and try that out as well.